Everyone, we are here for the first episode of the bullshit sessions. We did a little intro video a few weeks ago, if you'll remember, and Nick was actually with me on that one. And we're going to do the first one with Nick again tonight because 2 weeks ago, Nick actually had me go with him to, what was it called? Beaver Valley?
South Beaver Tactical.
South Beaver Tactical. And while we were there, I got to see Nick and a lot of other guys do some long-range shooting. And when I say long-range, I mean you guys were shooting out to what, 1,250 yards?
We had 1,260 was our furthest shot that day. Yeah.
1,260. So it was pretty fucking cool. It was very impressive. And I wanted to talk to Nick a little bit about that. I thought maybe you guys would like to hear some of that stuff. But being as this is a bullshit session, as we promised in the introductory, we're going to just give you a quick glimpse of what we're drinking, being as we're Tipsy Moose. I have the Labatt Light. Nothing fancy, not going to be a review. That's on the drink up session, but I'm enjoying myself a Labatt Blue Light tonight. Nick?
As usual, Labatt Heavy.
Labatt Heavy, so...
Always.
So, Nick, tell us a little bit about, like, what is it that you guys do there? Why shoot that far? What?
Well, the range itself is privately owned. I've been going down there for pretty close to 15 years now. Phenomenal group of guys. To put it simply, I'd say it's more of a hobby than anything. Guys get into it, they say, I don't know, you have the, for lack of a better term, the romance of what a sniper does. Guys want to get involved in something like that rifle, shooting long distance, shooting long range. What most people don't know is shooting is a very small percentage of what a sniper actually does. But we take that part of it and try to apply it as best we can. That's a lot of the guys go into it with that aspect. Some people just like shooting steel a long ways away. Yeah. Pushing the limits of a rifle, pushing the limits of ammunition, a load. For me, that's what does it for me. And working for a brass company, and the best brass company on the planet.
Give a shout out.
It's Peterson Cartridge, and I work for them. I make their I'm one of the operators in the cell. It is if I'm going to come at it at an unbiased angle, I've compared it to all the high-end brass on the market, and Peterson is by far the most consistent, and it's absolutely phenomenal for everything I've shot with it. But getting involved in that industry, a friend of mine, Matt Schuler, actually is how I ended up at Peterson's. And getting involved in that industry, you're kind of, I don't know, if you don't shoot long range, it's kind of a waste.
Right.
So for me, it's been a passion for a long time. I shoot archery, I shoot everything. But smashing steel at distance has been a passion for a long time. And my kids are starting to kind of get into it. They enjoy it. And the guys down there at the range, we have normal like Sunday shoots like you were at, and we also host matches. Guys do competition.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I know you said it's a hobby for a lot of guys, but while I was there, I heard you and I heard some of the other guys talking about different matches that were coming up. And I mean, you guys get pretty good turnouts for those, and you travel a good ways to do some of those.
We run around. There's ranges in Ohio. There's other ranges in Pennsylvania. Some of the guys go way across the country and do different PRS matches, which is the same thing.
Now, what does PRS stand for?
Precision Rifle Series. Now, what that is it's sort of what you saw.
Okay.
But we did all of our shooting in the prone.
Okay.
Precision Rifle Series is a lot of positional stuff. They shoot from all kinds of different odd positions, different scenarios. It's a completely different sport when it comes to long-range shooting. You get into PRS or you get into the prone shooting. There's bench rest shooting. But a lot of the guys I know, they shoot PRS. I am going to be jumping into PRS. And
you got to bear with us 1 second. The ladies are in desperate need of help, and gentlemen such as ourselves are not going to deny them that. So I'll let Nick continue on here.
So a lot of the guys I know, they travel around, they travel all over the U.S. and they shoot different matches. And I as of now, getting back into it after a couple years off, I'm kind of sticking local for now. But down at South Beaver, we have a couple of different matches that we run locally, and we're going to start running PRS stuff down there. If Craig, pull it, there you go, you got it.
Come on now. I'm not one to leave a damsel in distress.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So that range in itself is slowly growing, and it has been over the years. The sport itself is becoming more and more and more popular. Everywhere I go,
Right.
I run.
Well, I can tell you. I mean, I've, other than for hunting purposes, I've never really done a lot of long distance shooting with my rifle, and being there with you guys and what you guys do, that I mean, I was very excited to give it a try, and you let me try your rifle.
Yeah.
And I hit the target at 400, and I was just right at 500, correct?
Yes. Yeah. Just.
But
right at 500.
not to make excuses, Nick said a lot of that had to do with the fact that I was shooting a left-handed rifle built for him, and I'm a right-hander and about 1.5 feet taller than him.
Yeah, we run like my chassis. I run a chassis system instead of a standard stock. The chassis system, it's more simple, and it's extremely adjustable. I had it adjusted to fit me behind the gun, and we're quite a bit different.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was.
I am excited to bring a couple of my 1,000-yard guns out and give them a try, because I mean, just using Nick's and shooting out to that 400 and 500. I mean, that was, I really enjoyed that, and to bring mine out and see what it actually can do. Not that I would ever shoot at an animal at some of those distances.
Yeah.
But just to know that the gun's capable of doing it gives you a lot of confidence if you do have to take like a 600-yard shot at something like an elk or a moose or something like that.
That's just it. Like you set an ethical distance, like my ethical distance that I would ever shoot at something. I'd say probably 300 to 400 if it has a heartbeat, if it's got a pulse, targets or whatever. But as far as like hunting is concerned, it's 300 to 400 yards is the absolute most. I'm just not willing to take the risk. Now, if you're talking like on an elk, once in a lifetime hunt, if I was ever lucky enough to go on something like that, it would be a lot of practice at 600 and 700 just to make sure, just to make sure I had it in my toolbox once I got out there. And there's a lot that goes into it. A lot of guys, you'll hear guys say it's easy, it's simple. Well, the equipment can make it simple, but at the same time, there's all the math involved. There's the computers, the calculators, everything.
Speak to that a little bit, because I was just going to say, you think, well, it's still just lining up the sights and squeezing the trigger. But, I was watching you, I was watching Justin, I was watching some of the other guys there. And when you started getting out to that 800, 900, 1,000 or more yards, just a slight breeze was
absolutely
a big difference in your calculations. And watching these guys, like he said, they're pulling out their notebooks to figure out their adjustments. They're using the different devices they took with them. So get in a little bit about, I mean, we're not going to get real technical, but get into that a little bit.
For me, what we do to start out, I reload my own ammo, obviously. So once I get a load figured out, I will get a muzzle velocity. And once I figure out what the muzzle velocity of the rifle is, I can determine my bullet drop. There's two different things here. Bullet drop is constant. It's always constant, and it's easy to compensate for. What separates the really good guys from the normal guys is wind. Reading wind. Wind is the culprit of a vast majority of the misses that go on out there. Because like I said, we have calculators, you have apps on your phone. Guys run Kestrels that you can calculate drop if you have an accurate bullet speed. It's simple to get an accurate bullet speed through a chronograph. So drop is a non-issue. And also if you have a good optic, you can obviously see what you're shooting at that distance. But wind is what will get you every time. Now, reading wind, there's a couple of different factors. I read wind through a lot of mirage. Watching the mirage through the scope, you can see it. Take the scope out of focus, you can see it even more. You're watching grass, or you're watching trees or leaves, or a wind flag if there's one out there.
Right.
If you're hunting, there's no wind flag. But that is the number one thing that we all train, is reading wind and shooting in wind. Now, to combat that, we pick calibers that shoot in the wind well. It's called a high BC, or ballistics coefficient. It's all on how well it fights the wind as it goes, and as the bullet starts to slow down, how much effect the wind has on the bullet. And I'm shooting a 6mm round, and with a high BC bullet, long, thin bullet, and it does well. The faster I can push it, the better it'll do.
Right.
That's why the 6.5s and the 6s are, the 6mm are so popular. It's ridiculous. Ducks.
That's what happens when you film an outdoor interview outdoors.
But yeah, the 6.5 and the 7mm and the 6mm, they're the most popular rounds out there today because of that reason. The high BC, you're shooting a 7
Ultra mag,
7, and that thing is going to be incredible in the wind.
Oh,
it really is. It's going to be incredible.
I'm excited to see what it does.
I mean, they call them ICBM slingers for a reason. I mean, they rip them. So,
well, like I said, you let me shoot your gun out there, and I know what you have into that, and be on the lookout, because he is actually going to do an article for the website on the build he did for this gun. Yeah. But I mean, the time and the money that you put into that, it's justified because you enjoy doing this.
Oh, absolutely.
What kind of recommendations would you give to someone that is just getting into it, or maybe wants to see if this is something they enjoy? I mean, not everyone's going to want to dump that kind of money into a long-range gun.
Yep.
What would you say is a good place to start?
Best place to start is right where you just did. Talk to people. There's if you're on social media, everybody is. There's a lot of long-range shooting pages. There's also an online forum that a lot of us use called Sniper's Hide. It's literally a forum built around long-range shooting. Talk to people. Research as much as humanly possible. Research, but the fact of the matter is everybody shoots for a one-hole group at 100 yards. They want one hole at 100 yards. When in all reality, to be able to shoot out the distance, you're looking for a 1 MOA rifle, or 1 minute of angle rifle. What that means is at 100 yards, if you can hold a group the size of an inch at 100 yards and 1 MOA the whole way out to your desired distance.
So in other words, at 800 yards, you want them all in 8 inches?
That's right, yes. Yes, and so on and so forth. If you have a rifle that can hold that kind of accuracy, you can successfully shoot long range and hit your targets. So just getting into it, do all the research you can humanly get your hands on. Like, look at everything, read everything you can, and then as far as the rifle's concerned, I'm a huge advocate of Savage rifles. I love their rifle. They're factory guns.
Mm-hmm.
They're affordable. They're accurate right out of the box. If you're looking to shoot factory ammunition, coupled with Savage's, the Hornady factory stuff works really, really well. Also, Peterson Cartridge, the company that I work for, we have a separate company that's in our building called Spark Munitions, and we load ammo as well and sell ammo to the public there.
Okay, I was going to ask you that next too. I come obviously more of an archery background than a rifle background. I mean, I hunt with a rifle, but my tech experience is with archery. And I know with archery, choosing the right arrow makes a huge difference. How important is it to pick the right ammo for your gun? And I know enough to know that almost 99% of the time, a hand load is better than a factory load.
Yeah.
So how important is that, Nick?
I tailor my hand loads to my rifle. As far as how deep I seat the bullet into the case, how much powder I put in it, the charge. How far when I resize my cases, some people might not understand what that is. When I run the case up into a die and I resize it, it's all tailored 100% to my rifle. What I'm doing when I do that is I'm eliminating variables. If my ammunition is tailored to that rifle and every single round over the course of 200 rounds is identical, I'm eliminating a variable. And I'm taking excuses away from myself. I literally don't have one.
To me, it sounds a lot like what I tell people when they come in and they talk to me about their bow and getting more accurate with their bow. Consistency is key.
Yes, that's
the more
correct.
consistent your equipment, the more consistent you are, the more accurate you're going to be, whether it's 30 yards with a bow or 1,500 yards with a rifle. I think that's a fair statement.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now don't get me wrong. We've had factory stuff, other rifles that I've owned in the past, things that I've done, guns that I've shot. We've had factory ammunition, preloaded ammunition that shot phenomenal. A lot of it has to do with bullet weight and twist rate in your barrel, your rifling twist rate in your barrel. You have to match that up. Like I had a 6.5 Creedmoor that would shoot one hole with factory Hornady ammunition right out of the box, and it was kind of strange because you'd see the groups this rifle would fire, and that usually doesn't work that way.
Right.
And they're right, but every now and then you'll get that white whale, and that thing will just shoot. It'll flat out shoot. But the factory ammunition for a vast majority of people just getting started, the factory offerings that are out there are good enough.
Now, going with someone just getting started, my Ultra Mag I have because of my hunting background, because of the animals I hunt. I needed something that had the ass behind it, for lack of a better way to describe it. But if somebody wanted to get into this, and I know you said you're a big advocate for Savage rifles, what kind of calibers would you be looking at for someone just getting started?
Hunting, if you want to hunt also with the thing, and you have to decide on the size of the game as well. If you're looking to hunt big game and you want to shoot long range, 7 mag, 300 Win Mag. I have a few hits at a mile with a 300 Win Mag. I'm a big fan of that caliber. There's a couple other calibers that have come out recently, a 6.5 PRC and a 300 PRC. Savage, I know, either does or is going to be chambering rifles in that. But if you're hunting big game. Now, if you're hunting just whitetails or lighter skin game, 6.5 Creedmoor, the old 308, much as I hate to say it, the old 308 will get the job done. There's the 243. It was one of the absolute, it's a 6mm, it's a phenomenal long range round, and it's a good hunting round. My hunting rifle, and I've shot at long range, is a 25-06. I'm a big fan of the 25 caliber bullet, good BC, and they're fast. And then as far as if you're just wanting to target shoot and just get involved, everywhere you're going to look, you're going to see 6.5 Creedmoor. And people, now it's getting to the point to where it's caught on so much that it is literally the most popular round there is.
I was going to say, everything anymore. It seems like every ad you see, the gun is available in that caliber.
Yes, and you'll see it if you get on social media and you look around. Guys dog it quite a bit now because they whatever, they don't believe in it, or they don't look at the numbers. But the 6.5 Creedmoor, to start out with all the factory ammo offerings now and how popular it is and how much support there is for the round, it's pretty tough to beat. Honestly, it is.
Right.
So
now, when's that next match going to be coming up? Are you shooting in it?
Yeah, October 17th we have a match we're going to on October 17th, and then the PRS style match is November 7th, I want to say.
Okay.
So we have a couple more for the year coming up, and that one in October I'm really looking forward to get the now that the rifle's broken in.
Right.
I have the load built, everything's ready to go. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it performs for that one.
So I like I said, I have a sense of what you have into this new rifle and everything for it. But if you are someone that's getting started and you're looking for, say you go with a Savage 6.5 or something like that, what, between the gun, the equipment needed to do it, and I know, a constant cost is going to be the ammunition because you're always going to need the ammo.
Yeah.
But what kind of money can someone expect to sort of lay out to get started?
Well, you need to start out, and I didn't put a lot of emphasis on this earlier. The rifle obviously needs to be up to par. There's guys out there using a rifle that's sub $600-700, and yeah, and sub $600-700 rifle, and getting hits at 1,000 yards. The big factor here is optics. I am a huge call me a snob when it comes to optics. It's a big deal to me. If I look through a scope and it's subpar, I have an issue instantly. Like right away, like the wind's out of my sails right away. I run Vortex optics. Shameless plug. I run Vortex optics. I'm shooting a Gen 2 Razor HD. It's a 4.5 to 27. Now, that's a high-end optic. You got a hell of a price tag there. Vortex, and there's other companies out there that offer the same thing, roughly. Vortex, in my opinion's the biggest bang for your buck. They offer middle of the road scopes, $600, $700, $800 optics that will get the job done.
Okay.
And really leave nothing to be desired at the end of the day. The 5 to 25 Strike Eagle, the new one that just came out from Vortex, I want to say its street price is coming in somewhere in the neighborhood of $6 something, maybe. You have to check me on that, but $600-650 somewhere in that ballpark. And that scope will literally do everything you need it to do, regardless. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. But yeah, that scope will do everything you need it to do, sub $1,000. But an entire system, rifle, optic, it really depends on what you want to spend and what your budget looks like. Like, I can't say somebody's going to get into this and this is going to be the price tag.
Yeah.
Because obviously you have to like the rifle. You want the damn thing to look good. You want it to look good. You want it to shoot good. Just my biggest piece of advice is to figure out what your budget is and then research it. Read, research, watch videos, watch reviews. I'll be doing some of them. And if there's any reviews that you guys want to see, let us know. I can get a hold of a lot of it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we can run reviews on those things for you if you're interested in it. But getting into it, if you got $1,000 to throw around, you can make it happen. If you got $1,000 to throw around, you can make it happen for sure. So that's kind of where we're at with that. I mean, but the long range game, unfortunately, there really is no way around it to stay really
You
low.
got to pay to play.
You got to pay to play. Yeah, that's where you're at with it. Yep. So yeah.
Well, Nick, thanks for talking about this with me.
Absolutely.
Is there anything you feel that maybe we need to add to this that I haven't really asked you? Because, I mean, you're my firearms man because you have much more knowledge on the subject than I do.
All I can say is the sport itself's growing very fast. It's a great sport to get involved in. You meet a lot of good people if you're interested in that kind of thing. I know today's misconceptions on the scary black guns and everything else that goes on. People don't really like getting involved in those sorts of things. Some people, I do, but some people don't like to get involved in those sort of things. This style of shooting, most guys are using bolt action rifles. If you want to get into something that really is going to push you and everything that you have to make it work, this is a sport that will do that to you. I mean, it will drive you crazy. And I can say the first time I hit a piece of steel at 1,000 yards, something in here switched.
Just clicked.
It was over. Yeah, it was all downhill from there. So, yeah, it was. It's been a big deal for a long, long time for me. And also, I want to add, if anyone would like help, if they want to reach out to me, get a hold of one of us. I would be happy to walk you through it, happy to answer any of your questions that you could have. It's hard to like narrow it all down.
And if you do have questions and you do want to reach out to Nick, his email is nick@tipsymooseadventures.com. You can reach him that way and he'll get back to you right away.
Yeah, I'd be happy to help you out. And if you're local to us and you'd like to check this out, long range stuff, once again, get in touch with me. I can get you out to the range. I can invite you down to the range. You can come down and watch like Craig did. Or if you have a rifle, bring it with you. I'll get you on steel. We'll get you on steel at 1,000. No problem at all.
Well, thanks again, Nick. And guys, like I said, this is just the first of the bullshit sessions. I'm sure you're going to see Nick on here many more times. But that's kind of the gist of how these things are going to work. Hopefully we get some interesting topics for you guys and some good conversation, stuff you guys enjoy watching. So thanks for tuning in. Keep on the lookout. We got a lot more videos coming, both from the bullshit sessions, from Drink Up, and as soon as we can get our schedules to work out here, we're going to get Joey Tambellini for the Campfire Cuisine.
Looking forward
so,
to that.
Stay tuned and keep checking the channel and the website. Thanks again, Nick.
Absolutely.
Talk to you guys later.
Take it easy.